right. Welcome back, everyone, to the A-Train Radio Show. I'm your host, Adam Amble, coming to you live from Castle Rock, Colorado. A little gloomy out there today. It's supposed to rain a little later. Not the best week in terms of weather, but nonetheless, we are here, and let's get the party started. And we're going to rock a little tunes right now while we get everything set up. I believe we're going to have Scott Ulibarri, the one and only, back on here in a little bit. Give us about 4 or 5 minutes, get that all set up. Hope everyone had a good week. I know it was a little rough weather-wise, especially back in Michigan, here in Colorado. Not the best week. Really chilly. We actually got just pounded with snow Sunday and Monday. It pretty much was nonstop snow. But then, in true Colorado fashion, look what happens. We get a day of sunshine, and boom, it all goes away. Snowed again Thursday night. Boom, gone Friday. So that was pretty cool. It was good to. It's really cool because in Michigan, obviously that snow kind of accumulates and doesn't really go away for a while. So here in Colorado, it's kind of nice if it snows, it could snow 8-9 inches. And then if it's nice the next day, it's all gone except for the shade. A lot of the shade really protects that snow. So there's certain stairs and steps and sidewalks that still have a ton of snow on them, but then everywhere else it's just fine. So let's get going with some tunage. Actually, again, some royalty-free music. I really need to find out how like radio stations really play their copyrighted music, because it's kind of annoying that you can't do any of it on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, or they kick you right off. But radio stations, I assume they pay their royalty fees. I think that's something that Facebook and YouTube really need to figure out. And if you didn't notice, we are actually live on Facebook and YouTube now. I actually got a little program so I can broadcast to multiple platforms, which is pretty sweet. Let me know how it sounds, guys, out there on Facebook Live. Thanks for everyone joining in. Appreciate it on this Saturday afternoon. I know it's about, 3:03 out there in Michigan, out in the Eastern time zone. It's only 1:03 here in Colorado. So without further ado, let's get to some tunes, and we will keep on rolling. I think we'll have Scott Ulibarri here in a little bit, so enjoy, folks. Let's keep going.
Sounds good.
All right, folks, we are back with Scott Ulibarri. Scotty, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. Welcome back. It's been about a week since we did this. So
Yep. It's funny. I heard you talking about Colorado weather. It's funny uh, how it can snow like crazy there and be gone, and then snow again and then be gone. Whereas here, obviously living in here your whole life, it's like it snows and it's here for 9 months.
yeah, it's funny you bring that up because over Thanksgiving we actually Jess and I actually had a conversation with my uncle Keith, and you know how it seems like every state they're always like, oh, if you don't like the weather, just stay, just wait 10 minutes. And I think that's more prevalent here in Colorado than it is in Michigan because when it rains or it's cloudy, I mean it's pretty cloudy for most of the day. I know here in Colorado the weather drastically shifts. From hour to hour. I know in the summer you got, you always had the in the summer you always have that 4 o'clock little thunderstorm that
Monsoon.
rolls in. Yep,
Yep.
yep, rolls in and then just kind of rolls out quickly, which is just crazy to me. But other than that, what you guys been doing this past week to pass the time?
Let's see. Working from home, and my lovely wife decided to buy new blinds for all 28 windows in the house, and so that's been taking up a good portion of my time. I thought that this would be a great opportunity for me to finally get down to some Red Dead Redemption, but I've barely played it in the last 4 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's there there was talk of a lot of video game playing over this if you want to call it a break or over this stay at home stuff. But you're telling me that didn't really pan out. You've been the old lady's been keeping you busy, huh?
Well, it works when she's not here, but she's been here also. So,
Oh,
so so
true, true.
uh, no, so it's basically been well, and with me not traveling, it's been a lot of catching up on a bunch of house stuff that we've needed to get done, rather than me being gone all week, and so it's been house stuff, and then of course Netflix. We watched a ton of Netflix, so thank you very much. Um, but yeah, we're about a third of the way through the second season of Ozark.
Oh,
So
really? Okay, cool. Because yeah, season two is pretty solid. We've actually watched all three seasons,
I heard
but
season 2 is awesome.
yeah, it gets better and better in my opinion. I don't know what other people's opinion is, but yeah, it's a solid show. Jason Bateman's been, you kind of see him all over. What other sitcom was it?
Arrested
Arrested
Development.
Development. That's right. That's right.
He was awesome in Arrested Development, but he's like the same. He's like, it's almost like he's not acting. That it's like that's his personality, because he has the same personality in Arrested Development.
I think he honestly has the same personality in pretty much every movie that he plays in, every sitcom that he plays in.
Yeah.
Actually, I just on I believe it's TBS right now is the breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn.
Oh
And
yeah.
Jason Bateman is their lawyer, or their real estate agent. That's right. And of course, he's the exact same in even the breakup. Even it doesn't matter what
Yep.
actual it doesn't matter what actual uh, what is what his character is. I think you're right. He basically just does the Jason Bateman. And so who you playing today, Jason Bateman? It's going to be Jason Bateman. So I think that's hilarious because it's funny you bring that up. Like I said, because yeah, Arrested Development. I've actually never watched an episode of Arrested Development. Have you?
Oh, it's funnier than hell.
Oh, is it? Okay,
It's
so
really funny.
so you would recommend it?
Yes.
All right. Well, maybe
So,
that have to. Maybe
and
that's
here's the weird thing. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
yeah. I finished that.
To me, this reminds me so much of Breaking Bad, where it's like it starts out one way and shit just gets. Oh, I'm sorry, stuff just gets progressively worse and worse and worse as everything goes on. It's so much to me. It so much reminds me of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's kind of a common theme again with. Let's see, Jess and I are actually watching Sons of Anarchy for the third time. So, which is funny. It's not on any. I think it's on Hulu. Actually, you can get it for free. But I'm actually just buying all the HD seasons off of Xfinity. So, it's which is nice because then we can watch them whenever we want. But
Right.
it's funny because a lot of these shows, it's the exact same thing, right? It's almost like they run out of things to do, so everything just gets worse and worse and worse, and they just dig themselves in a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. We just got through the season where they went to Ireland, which I think we've had this discussion before, is like your least favorite. Did you guys kind of like quit watching after the Ireland season?
No, we powered through it, but there's just a lack of stuff going on. It's kind of like, it was kind of like Orange is the New Bad. We stopped watching Orange is the New Bad when they did the prison riot because it was just boring. But we knew that with Sons of Anarchy, after hearing you talk about the however many times you've watched it, it was like, all right, we just got to power through this, and it was fine. It wasn't the same. It didn't have the same it didn't have the same storyline, and it was just awkward. It didn't fit really, I guess, is what it was more than anything.
That was Orange is the New Black. That's what you're talking about.
Well, no, both. I mean, it was kind of similar how with Sons of Anarchy, the Ireland season it just didn't fit right, and it was kind of the same with Orange is the New Black with the prison riot. It just and Orange is the New Black, totally different thing, obviously. But yeah, with Sons of Anarchy, we just powered through it, and it just didn't fit.
Yeah. So how and when did you guys only watch Sons of Anarchy one time through?
We tend to only watch only watch series one time through.
Oh, I see how it is. What do you think, you're better than me? Think you're better than me? I see how it is. But no, we actually I'm a big fan of. I've probably watched, and I've told you guys this before, but I've probably watched House 4 times, all the way through. Friends, I've watched a couple times through. Game of Thrones, I've watched 3 times. Sons of Anarchy, this will be my 3rd time. Now, Jess has actually never. She had to. They took it off Netflix right when she was going through season 5. So this will all be new for her, which is kind of cool. Seeing the new things, that'll be awesome. Yeah, exactly. But she, I bet you, last year I said, I'm not sure if this is really your thing, but give it a watch and see what you think. And sure enough, she loved it. So during this whole thing, we basically said, let's give it a shot. Let's see where we can find it. You do the old voice command on Xfinity, and sure enough, it brings it up, and you got to buy a season, which it's not bad. It's only like $30 for the whole season. So not bad, but unfortunately you can power through a season in like 3 nights, right? So
I'm surprised you can't get that on. What did it originally air on? TBS?
FX.
FX. I'm surprised you can't get it like on demand on FX.com or something like that.
Well, like I said, it used to be on Netflix, which was cool because obviously it was free. But yeah, it used to be on Netflix, but they take down shows, and then it wasn't on anything. Like I said, it's on Hulu Plus now for free. You got so many of these streaming platforms nowadays that I don't even know which one. They're all going to have their own things, right? Because you're going to have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. All of these platforms cost you $10 a month. So at the end of the day, you're almost going to be spending on all these streaming platforms what you would on cable.
Yep. And the nice thing though is the thing I like is both Amazon and Netflix, with them producing their own shows, they're producing some of the best content out there.
Oh, I agree. Just like Ozarks. Ozarks is a Netflix.
Netflix original.
Yeah.
So is Tiger King, which you realize there's still some people out there that have not seen Tiger King.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah,
that
it
is
blows
amazing
my mind.
to me. That is insane. What do you see? For everyone that has Netflix, if you go to the top 10 in the United States right now, you know what number 1 is?
Let me guess.
No, it's not Tiger King, which Tiger King was number 2, which it actually was Despicable Me, which was weird. But
that is so weird.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are probably watching it with their kids now.
Right.
But what's funny about that is because everyone that has Netflix has probably watched Tiger King, so everyone's probably like, oh well, we don't need to. There's no need to watch it. I will not be watching Tiger King again. I'll tell you that much.
No, that's one time through. But I think it was I think I saw something that said it was the most watched docuseries ever.
Well,
which doesn't surprise me, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. And my thing is, I think that there needs to be people. People are missing out on gold right now if they are waiting to put something on air. You know what I mean? There's there's going to be that Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN, which looks really good. But everyone's kind of like, why the heck is ESPN just waiting? It's like they're holding off on airing it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I had a weird thought, kind of in line with that. I wonder if like 6 months from now, we're not going to have any content because they can't produce anything right now, and there's always this lag. And so, what are we going to do 6 or 8 months from now because they can't produce any content?
That's a good point. Like, is there going to be anything new out there?
For the love of God, hopefully we have sports at that point to be able to lessen the blow.
Well, the more I hear, the more that I listen to, I'm a big fan. Every day I listen to my certain sports radio shows. So, but the thing is, they're all in either Los Angeles or New York, right? So, two major areas to where they're like, oh, we just don't see it happening. Here in Colorado, the Democratic governor is basically, he's already putting plans together to start opening things up gradually. And I know in Michigan, they had the old protest on the Capitol, which we won't get into that. But I guess, yeah, I'm sure you guys really loved it. There's ways to protest. I don't disagree with them protesting, but they could have done a smarter job. But of course, that's all Trump's fault, right? Right, Scotty?
Of course. But then also, I mean, she totally screwed everything up with like the arbitrary rules and what you can and can't do. So
yeah, what is the feeling in your area, Scotty?
I don't know anyone that likes her, and everyone thinks this is dumb.
Yeah. What's that?
Alyssa just said her dad doesn't even like her, and he lives up with where you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my mom, I know my family does. Well, I don't think my mom cares much for her, but I don't want to put words into her mouth, obviously, but they, who knows about the rest of the members of my family? I'm not really sure. It just seems like she really hasn't done a lot of good. I mean, I know she's only been in office for a couple, I guess it's been a decent amount of time. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's been a decent amount of time, but yeah, if anyone knows that listening right now, let us know. Let us know your thoughts on the Michigan governor. What do they call her? The Witless Whitmer or whatever?
Or Whitler.
Yeah, Whitler. Oh, goodness. Yeah.
When you started, you were asking how radio stations can play music without paying royalties. I know exactly how they can do it.
Well,
don't
hold out on me.
It's kind of like a bar where they consider it a open venue, and what they do is all the radio stations have to pay ASCAP or what is the other one? Like royalties to ASCAP, right? And so as long as they have a membership to ASCAP and they pay ASCAP royalties, they can play all these songs. Now the artists though don't get any of the royalties, only ASCAP.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's it, and that's kind of what I was getting at with Facebook. Facebook is trying to get a program into or some software, excuse me, to where they actually pay for the royalties, so then people can actually start using copyrighted music and videos on Facebook. I'm not sure what YouTube is doing. Again, folks, welcome to the A Train Radio Show. I'm here with Scott Ulibarri for the second time. It's good. This will be a nice little Saturday tradition as long as we keep doing this, Scotty. I am on Facebook Live and now YouTube. I am projecting to 2 platforms now, which is kind of fun. It's a little more work for me behind the scenes, but this is kind of nice because not everyone, now I can actually broadcast to the world, and you don't have to be basically my friend on Facebook in order to hear this. So I got to get it out there. Just go to the M Factor channel, just type in search on YouTube for the M Factor, and I should be on there broadcasting simultaneously with Facebook Live here. We do have some comments, Scotty, real quick before we get back to you. Tab Weber says, good to see you again, Tab. Are you guys going to watch the One World Live now? I'm not sure what that is. You're going to have to let us know.
I'm
You
not
have to
sure
let
what
us know what
that
that is. And he brings up another good point. There's more NASCAR drivers getting in trouble in iRacing than on Sundays in real racing. Yeah, how about that? Have you heard about the old Kyle Larson thing going on,
I
Scotty?
did, and it's it's all this is on a public forum, but I yeah, do I have an opinion about it? Yeah, I think that it wasn't a big deal. Again, I don't really have a horse in the race, but you know, it's one of those things where you just slip up, and he should be allowed to apologize and go on with life. They shouldn't have to like take all of his livelihood away because of it.
Yeah,
But
I
then
actually
also,
didn't hear it. Was it? Did you hear it? I didn't hear it.
no,
Like what context it was in? Was he just joking
oh,
around, or was he actually just like calling?
no, it was like just one of those like offhanded comments where his headphones wasn't working and he didn't realize that it was broadcast to the whole world. And so he just he called the guy that was on the radio an N bomb, who's another white guy, and just to kind of mess with him. And now the whole world wants his head on a pike.
Okay, well that's yeah, you got to watch out for that nowadays, right? So I'm just
Well,
curious. What did you
and
hear? He
he's
got
half Japanese too. Just to put that out there.
yeah, yeah. Well, if you're, you. Yeah, we can't say anything about that. That's tough on. We don't want to get tossed off Facebook or YouTube now. So we'll keep that to ourselves.
One of his sponsors, and I don't recall which one, but I was actually listening to one of my podcasts, and I can't remember which one it was, but one of his sponsors actually is standing by him because they said, "Hey, he's a bright young man. He's a good driver. We all realize people make mistakes." Basically, saying that if you haven't made a mistake, you're not human, and we're going to stand by him. But it
Yep,
doesn't matter because now he
exactly.
doesn't have a ride.
Yeah. Yep. He got fired. What he got? I think he got fired yesterday, right?
I don't know what day it
I
was.
think
I thought he got.
T-Bone
I thought he got.
texted me and it was basically like, oh yeah, oh Larson fired. I mean, he got suspended and obviously he lost a lot of sponsorship when it happened last week. Tab, maybe you know exactly what's going on. Some more comments real quick. Eggs, Zach Egley, Eggs, good to see you, buddy, on A Train Radio show. Eggs is a normal listener of the A to G show, so good to have you, buddy. A lot of people in my area upset because of the fishing restrictions. Yeah, and that's what kind of upset me about a lot of what I was reading on social media there, Scotty. I'm sure you have an opinion on this too, but the fact that it all seemed to be like, most of my liberal friends, if you want to, I don't want to label them that harshly, but everyone was everyone was kind of, they're all claiming, oh well, look, just because you can't go golfing or fishing, and it had nothing to do with that really. It's just people wanting to go back to work, right? That's the big thing. That's all I've been hearing from anyone that I've talked to from Michigan, is they're not upset because they can't go golfing. That's silly. I mean, of course that would be nice. It'd be also nice to be able to get the boat out, right, Scotty, and take it out on the lake, but unfortunately you
When it's
can't do
not
that.
snowing.
Right, but there's that wasn't the reason for the protest. It's because now you got many states. I know South Carolina or North Carolina had a protest. Colorado, they're actually starting to get one together as well on the Capitol. And it's the right to go back to work. That's what they're protesting. They're not protesting because they can't go golfing. Come on, people, that's silly, right?
Yeah, and it's so weird because everywhere being different and having different levels of affliction with the virus and everything. It just, some things don't make sense. So I think that again, it's kind of like with guns and being living in a, it's like living in a free society comes with risk. And so if you take away all the risk, you have no freedom. So you have to have some amount of freedom, and at the same time be able to be an adult and understand what the risk is, and take risks however you so choose.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's amazing how politicized and how how partisan this issue is. You know, this should be something that is not political. Of course, it's going to be in this day and age. So I'm really, you know, at some points I'm really disappointed in the American society right now with how people are handling this. However, I'm also very, very impressed with certain many individuals, you know, donating. Remember Drew Brees donated, I think, like $4 million to the state of Louisiana. How awesome is that? And there's other individuals. I mean, we're talking individuals here. We're not talking corporations and stuff, but corporations are doing it too. So there's, you know, it's bringing out the good in people, but unfortunately our present day media only decides to portray the evilness of people, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
not sure if
that's
it's the same. Yeah, I'm not sure if is that the same going on over in Michigan, or I mean it's all national news, but
yeah, it's all national, but like here, I mean, we're all trying to support each other. I mean, especially here in where we are rurally, you know, so this is kind of funny. This kind of plays into that. So Alyssa and I have this side hustle going on where we're clipping dogs' nails, which I think I talked about last week. But they don't realize that people still need these services that they've deemed non-essential, and so we're providing this service, and you know, it's all about individuals helping the community, which is really what it should be.
yeah, absolutely. And I know that's what you guys are trying to do over there with your little side hustle. My mom, actually, I sent a text to Alyssa on Sunday. My mom, it was hilarious because my mom was wondering, you're gonna have to tell me about these anal things that Scott and Alyssa do. And then she realized what she wrote or texted, and then she's like, with the animals. Or she's like, animal wise. And I was like, well, we'll wait and see. I'll let them explain that to you because it's disgusting. So
I wanted to mention one more thing real quick. Have you seen this All In challenge?
yeah, with for the food, right?
No, so this is a sports thing sponsored by Fanatics, right? And so what it is it's a benefit that goes toward a bunch of different charities like No Kid Hungry and Feeding America and all this.
Yeah, that's what. Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
And I guess it's not just sports, but have you seen some of these auctions and some of these raffles that these celebrities are doing?
No, are they insane or?
They are insane.
I mean, what are we talking here? What are we talking like?
The best one that's on the top of the list. So for $10, and by the way, it's on fanatics.com for anyone listening, and it's kind of a neat deal. So it's a raffle, right? So for $10 you get 10 entries. For $100 you get 100 entries. So this is the top one on there. It's the ultimate. It's called the Ultimate Sports Fan Experience. This is what you get if you win it, right? So you get. Let me pull it up here real quick. You get $100,000 Fanatics gift card.
Oh, wow!
Just to start.
Well, you could buy some good merchandise with that, couldn't you?
Alyssa would get so many Tom Brady jerseys.
Is she going to get a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys now, or?
So that's just the first thing, right? You get $100,000 Fanatics gift card, tickets for you and 20 friends for the ultimate Super Bowl experience, including a suite at the Super Bowl and passes to the Fanatics tailgate and party.
Holy smokes!
Two round-trip coach plane tickets for everyone. 2 tickets to Game 1 of the NBA Finals. 2 tickets to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Now wait, Scotty, hold up real quick.
World Series.
Is this all one prize?
One prize.
Holy crap!
2 tickets to the College Football Playoff National Championship game. 2 tickets to the Daytona 500. 2 tickets to the Masters. 2 tickets to the Open Tennis Championship, men's and women's.
You know why they're doing that? Because we're not going to have any of those events. So
it doesn't say what year.
Oh, so a little open-ended. That'd be kind of cool.
You also get 2 tickets to the NCAA Final Four semifinals and national championship. So it says delivery timing. Prize delivery time will be mutually agreed upon and determined at a later date when it is safe to do so. So you're going to get it. Okay. It just may not be this year.
Oh, that's really good. And what do you have to do? You just put into the raffle, basically, right?
That's it.
So what do you have to? What's the website again?
It's on fanatics.com and it's called the All In Challenge.
Well,
If you just go to fanatics.com, it's right there on the front.
Yeah, I know a lot of celebrities are doing this too. That's why I mentioned it's like the food thing. For I know like Ellen had it on yesterday or whatever, to where you challenge they were basically challenge forwarding them, different friends and family, and just the challenge to, okay, now I'm all in, you guys go all in, and then you basically forward that challenge to other people. Yep. Which is kind of a cool idea. I like that. So that's the good stuff, right? That's the good stuff, and
absolutely.
Everything.
And it's funny because you mentioned Ellen, because even on this thing, it's mostly sports, but it's some non-sports. You can be Ellen's co-host for the day.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, there you go, because Jess loves the Ellen show, so she actually records it. But I tune in every time. I don't mind Ellen. I think she's a pretty good person. So for being a Hollywood person, right? But
yeah.
But she mentioned that, and I was like, oh, there you go. And then there was also like, you could be like help produce the show as well. And I was like, oh, that's right up my alley right there. I often tell people I don't really care about being on the show, more or less the design and the production of like the A to G, the M Factor, and the A Train radio show is more what I'm into. But this is just no one wants to use it, right? So I just got to do it myself. But it's been.
And even with that, you can do some really cool stuff on there, kind of, if depending on what you want to do, because like you can one of the winning things you can do is co-direct a movie with Jonah Hill.
Oh, that would be a blast.
So if you're big into movies, you can do that one, or you can be a walk-on with in a movie with, what is it, Al Pacino and Leonardo DiCaprio in a Martin Scorsese film.
Yes, I saw that. Did you watch the same Ellen show that I watched, Scotty?
Yeah, I don't watch Ellen.
Busted.
I
Busted.
I personally think she's insufferable, but that's just me.
That's it. Oh, someone's cracking. You cracking open a Truly over there, Scotty?
No.
Or you got a Natty Light?
Natty Light.
That a boy. I guess. How's it? Is it snowing out there right now?
No, it's actually not too bad out here right now today. It snowed all day yesterday, but it was warm enough that it didn't stick around that long. But I mean, there were periods where it was snowing pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Which, too bad. It's rather cloudy out here, but at least it's kind of warm. Oh, you'll like this, Scotty. So this is the Thunderbirds are actually gonna be roaring down I-25 here soon. They are doing a tribute from Fort Collins all the way down to Pueblo, right down like I-25. They're flying all over in honor of the healthcare workers. So they'll be flying over.
I saw that. They're covering a pretty good portion of the state with
their
flyby.
You see the map?
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, so they should be. It was like from 1 to like 2:30, so they should be cruising around right now up there in Denver. They're probably in Boulder, around that area right now. But that was pretty cool. So I'm hoping to hear them, because I'm not too far away from I-25. I got a nice view of the northern the highway running north, basically out of the office here. So I should be able to at least see them coming and then possibly hear them. But I'm not. Hopefully they didn't have to cancel because of the cloud cover. But I thought that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, good to know that the Air Force Thunderbirds are an essential business.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's, no,
I'm
part of the military.
It's one of those things where, it's one of the things people need. It lifts everyone's spirits. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, I love, with those jets, it's like a flyover, right? One of my more favorite things about NASCAR and sporting, some sporting events, to where they do the flyovers. One of the best things, especially after the national anthem. Boy, it seems like such a long time ago to when we got to see sporting events.
That's probably, in all honesty, that's probably been the worst part of this, is not having any sports. But at least the Rockies are undefeated.
Yeah, that's right. The Rockies. Well, now it's the Rockies, right, that always start off amazingly strong and have that slump right before the playoff push, right?
Well, no. Actually,
or is it backwards?
No, what it is usually the Rockies, they'll start off good for April. They're terrible from May
I heard
until
Alyssa in the background.
All-Star break, when they're finally out of it. And once they're out of it, they're really good.
Oh, okay. So good. Once there's no need to be good, it's all
pretty much.
All right. Well, we got some other comments here. Yeah, Tab Weber says you guys still need to find a business name for your new venture. Also, Tab mentioned he's drinking some vodka and Vernors over there. I assume you meant Vernors, Tab, not Vernon's. Or maybe it is Vernon's. Good old Michigan Vernors, right? They don't see a lot of Vernors out here in Colorado, do you, Scotty?
No, not at all. It's so funny, like the regional stuff. We didn't even know what Verner's was until we moved here. And then, once we moved here, we realized it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Have you had it?
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's
No,
funny.
it's good
It's
stuff.
funny because it's actually a home remedy in Michigan. So whenever you would get like like your stomach was upset, or even if you'd have like the flu, it's like a home remedy, especially for like mid Michigan. I know like my mom, grandma used to give us like Vernors if we had an upset stomach, just to try to soothe it. And I don't think there's anything in Vernors that really is going to soothe the upset stomach. Maybe it works
does have
for you,
ginger in it.
Scotty.
And ginger's really good for your stomach.
It's got ginger, but then again, it's probably just the carbonation.
It could be it could be combination things too. It could be the ginger, it could be carbonation, and there's also that placebo effect too, which you can't discount.
That's right. That's absolutely right. All right, Scotty. Well, I'm gonna get back. I need to go grab myself a beverage real quick. I'll be right back with you, Scotty. I'm gonna play some tunes real quick while we take a quick break. Welcome to the A Train Radio Show. We're live with Scott Uleberry from what do you want to be from, Scotty? White Lake or Pleasant Lake, Michigan?
Let's do White Lake because that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yep, technically that's correct. All right, Scotty. Well, we'll be right back with Scott Uleberry. Enjoy some of these awesome royalty-free tunes on the A Train Radio. We'll be right back, folks. All right, welcome back, folks. To the A Train Radio Show. We are here live with Scott Ulibarri, live from White Lake, Michigan. Scotty, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
We got you back. Yeah, so some good discussions. We're getting what everyone is drinking right now. So make sure to leave your comments in the left-hand side of the screen. Actually, however your Facebook Live or YouTube Live chat is set up. Don't forget, we are live on YouTube now. So hopefully, we're going to publish this on YouTube as well, so we can get it out to the world and not just the basically my Facebook friends. Hopefully, try to get some more listeners, some more viewers. I guess you'd say this is audio only. Thank goodness for a lot of us, so we can just kind of hop on and have a good chat. Right? We got some good people joining. Again, we are here live with Scott Ulibarri. Scotty, what you mentioned before, you sticking with the Natty right now?
Nothing better.
That a boy. We are actually going to do a little Ferris Power Hour later today. Eggs, I know, gone a long way since the Ferris days of Captain Morgan. Well, we're still sticking with the Natty Light, buddy. I know at Ferris it was all about the Dirty 30, some Busch Light and Red Dog. You could actually walk out of the liquor store with Red Dog for $9.99. That's a 30-pack, Scott. Do you have anything similar like that up in Boulder?
Yeah, when at Liquor Mart in Boulder, we used to be able to get 30 packs of Keystone Light for something like that, like $11.99 or something.
Snuggy Duggy now.
And we used to get kegs of Red Dog for $49.99, and they were rough.
Oh, really? You actually did the Red Dog as well, huh?
Any port in a storm.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, Ferris State, was the Ferris State Bulldog, so the symbol on the Red Dog container was pretty popular. It was hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, later tonight, who knows? Maybe you guys might have to join us, Scotty. We're gonna do a little power hour, so I gotta go to the old liquor store after the show here and pick up a nice 30 rack of Natty Lights, and we're gonna do some Zoom Power Hour, the Ferris one that I made for everyone. We actually did a Zoom with the Ferris fellas last weekend. It was a pretty good time. Most of them are married with kids, so it's nice for them to find some time and chat it up. It was a great time. You done anything like that, Scotty, with anyone from, I don't know, high school, college? I know most of a lot of it's good for me since I'm so 1,200 miles away from most of my friends. So what about you?
Nothing from nothing outside of like normal friends and stuff. We'll do a lot of Thursday night FaceTime with the Veaches, and then some other folks here and there, but nothing real big. It's usually just kind of like our normal deal, except for we're doing it virtually, 2-on-2 versus being in close contact, and that's about it. Nothing. But I don't stay really that much in contact with a lot of people from college or high school, except for the people that I've always been in contact with. So just a couple of friends here and there, and that's about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was just curious on it's amazing. I spoke with JC Jeff Collier on the first show, but how much we're just so lucky to actually have this technology nowadays. And how about, I got to give some props out to the platforms and the networks to be able to handle all this traffic. Can you imagine the traffic that is going, how many millions and trillions of terabytes are flowing through the internet right now, even as we speak, from streaming to YouTube, to social media, to news, just to Google searches. Can you imagine all the traffic that is having to be handled right now? And I really have not had any hiccups. I think right now I'm looking at my statistics on the stream health, and it has only dropped below my recommended frame rate, less than 1%. So I've only dropped a few hundred frames, and I'm broadcasting at 60 frames per second. So incredible. I got to give some props out to the definitely not the social media world, but the just the infrastructure that we have here in the United States. I feel pretty lucky and blessed, and families certainly should as well. And friends, we couldn't do this we definitely couldn't do this, even a decade ago, right? Being able to work from home. I think this is really going to show a lot of companies. I think we talked about this last Saturday, Scotty, on how this is really going to show a lot of companies that you be able to work from home for, certain, if not the whole week, a certain portion of the week. What are your thoughts on that, buddy?
No, you're absolutely right. So I don't think so. I have an office in Michigan Center, obviously for my company, but I don't think I'm going to go back. I don't need to be there, and I'm perfectly happy working from home. I know the dogs like it, but you're right. As far as the infrastructure, with the internet, we had a couple hiccups where we kept getting kicked off the internet, but it was a local thing. All I did was, restart the router. Everything's fine. We haven't had any issues with streaming, and we're real lucky. So this is strange. Even in rural Michigan, we have this service called WOW, and we pay for 100 meg service. We almost always get over 100 meg, and the service is screaming fast. It's decently cheap. We've had no interruptions, and it's just been wonderful. And we stream. We haven't had cable in years. We stream everything. I don't do any online gaming, which would be the one thing that would be an interesting test to see how the lag is on online gaming. But I don't like 13-year-olds sniping me and calling me names you can't talk about on Facebook.
Yeah, those little brats are so good at those games too. It's unbelievable.
So no, can you imagine doing this on dial-up? I'd wish for Corona to take me because they'd be unbelievably bad.
Oh, there would be no way that people would survive. I mean, you would have saw, if they would have shut down for a week even, how much cabin fever people get. At least this way you can communicate just like we're doing right now, right, Scotty? Yeah. You can communicate. Yeah. I could broadcast it. We got a lot of people joining in, listening, commenting, which is great. And that's exactly what it's all about. And it's just amazing. Like you said, I feel so blessed that we actually have this capability nowadays. I can only imagine what it's going to be like in another 5 years, right? Goodness.
Well, get this. So for everyone that's listening that doesn't know this, I buy lots of equipment and put in a lot of lines for production. So I have a piece of equipment, a really complex, expensive piece of equipment that's in Italy right now. And this piece of equipment, I was supposed to go out to Italy to run this piece of equipment off and validate it and do all this work prior to getting it shipped to the United States, so that we knew everything was right. Well, with Italy, and they're in northern Italy, which is a mess, and obviously I can't go there. And so what we're doing instead is we are going to ship them. So my company that I work for has this piece of equipment that is essentially Google glasses, which for those of you who don't know, it's basically glasses that have basically a computer monitor embedded in the lenses, and then a camera that's in the frame. And so we're going to ship them this equipment, and they're going to do the runoff without any of us there, so that the mechanics that are going to support it in the United States and all the operators are going to be able to watch in real time this runoff, almost like we were there. And so I'm wondering even if I'm going to have to do this anymore with validating equipment overseas or even in the country, where I can just do this now. So it may transition a lot of things that I would normally travel for to no travel at all.
Yes, exactly. We're actually over here in Colorado, or at my company, we're actually using a thing called Chalk, which is kind of cool. It's very similar. It's very similar to basically video conferencing, but you take your phone, tablet, whatever it may be, out there on the production floor, like if you have to run a trial or something. And what you can actually do is essentially very, very similar, but you can actually draw on your screen. If you're like, okay, I want you to do this setting or do this, or you can basically circle a button or type up or say. Basically it remembers everything that your instructions, basically. So it's almost as if you're there. You just have it. You got like digitally extended arms per se, Basically, we're like, okay, here's what I would do. You know, type this setting in, do this. Let me see the part, see how it came out, and yeah, it's essentially the same thing. So you're going to look at and that. Imagine how much that saves a company to not have to send you, especially overseas, right?
Yeah.
You know, because I know for a trip to Japan is not cheap. You know, you got the airfare, you got your per diem, you got hotel stay, you got food, you got all of that. And a lot of people don't realize this too, is you got to remember what your job back here in the States is missing out on too, because all that work's got to be done still, and you're not here to do it, right?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's completely inefficient, and it's nice. It's really nice having, you know, when I travel, that's just dead time, and so you have to make that up somehow, and it's usually with extra hours. Whereas with this, you can actually be more efficient. But then also the other thing I was thinking about. So when you have a runoff like this, and say you have a mechanic that's doing an action. This is all recorded now, so if one of your mechanics domestically has an issue, they can rewatch the video.
Yes, that is exactly right. Now, unfortunately, that might put some people out of work, but at the same time, it is very, very efficient and very, very cost effective for the company. So I think it's a great thing. Again, with this technology, it's unbelievable. I can only imagine where we're going to be in 5 years, right, Scotty?
It's incredible. I mean, I think 5 years ago, I was still, you know, doing all kinds of what now would seem to be, you know, old technology, backwards, whatever. And this is driving. I mean, as bad as this is, this will probably drive a lot of innovation.
It always does, right? They say, what is it, like war? War always drives a lot of innovation. War and especially like sadly a major tragedy or something like this, right?
It even goes back. It even goes back to the old saying that necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And that's something, again, it's kind of a blessing in disguise, right? You know, if you're going to take anything positive out of this whole situation, and it is a terrible situation, of course, the curve looks like it's starting to go on the decline here soon, and which is great news. So it's kind of one of the pros you can take away from this, right?
Yep, absolutely. And you know, maybe if things go well, then maybe we'll be also able to divorce ourselves a little bit more from China, because this is not working well for us, obviously.
Yeah. I think the whole world is kind of looking at that, and China. I think China, if everyone gets on board, and it should be a bipartisan issue, right? Of it's time to kind of cut ties with China, not only in the United States but across the world. I think most governments are really looking into that. You wouldn't have guessed that based on what the media covers, right? But
yeah, I mean, even look at countries like Spain and Italy, and how bad they've gotten hammered. You would think that they'd be like on the front line of trying to separate themselves, because it's affected them the most.
Yeah, and we'll see. We just don't know. Obviously, everyone is kind of focused on getting through this, which is the right thing to do. But I'm very curious to see how certain individual countries, obviously, especially the United States, handle their business with China going forward, because this is they need to face some penalties on this. And I know if any. This isn't, I don't want to be racist, right, Scotty? But the
Chinese isn't a race.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I believe that's a location, right? So I'm very curious to see how that plays out, and there needs to be penalties. There absolutely does. Again, I don't want to get too political here, but I do have to applaud President Trump on especially cutting the funding from the WHO. I thought that was a smooth move and the right move, technically, regardless if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. I don't care what you are. That is the right move. They held back a lot of information, and that could have. I don't want to say prevent this, but definitely could have reduced the what we're going through right now, right?
Yeah, and not only that, he was the first president that I'm aware of, at least, or the earliest president to shut down travel from China. He shut down travel from China the last day of January, where you still had all kinds of world leaders saying, no, this isn't that bad. We don't need to shut down travel from China. And he cut that off. And so
Yeah.
imagine how bad this could have been had he not done that.
Yep. Yep. And well, of course, he got called racist for doing that, but he can do no right, so it doesn't really matter.
You know.
Which is kind of crazy. I'm just sick of the media is just kind of becoming not becoming, have been for a while, but the boy who cried wolf, right? One too many times.
Yeah, if they've just called balls and strikes, that'd be one thing, but they don't.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm really curious to see how this turns out for China, first of all, because they're going to be, I think they're going to see a lot of repercussions, if not from the United States, definitely from other countries around the world that probably don't have as tight knit ties with China, right?
So absolutely, and I have an interesting thing too. So the company I work for, and you're probably in the same boat. We have a bunch of factories in China, and none of them in Wuhan, but I can't remember the name of the cities, but in either case, we had a company-wide town hall, what they call them, which you guys probably do too. And the CEO,
Yep.
he does this presentation. Well, the head of our Chinese division was talking, and they're starting to get back to normal there, and they haven't been normal since December. And he was saying it was weird that he was actually in a traffic jam last week, which they haven't had traffic jams in 3 months in China, which is plagued by traffic jams.
Yeah.
So he thought, oddly enough, and I'm sure people can relate to this all over the country, like especially in LA. Have you seen these pictures of the 405 in LA, which is like one of the worst traffic disasters in the world? The 405 has like no traffic on it right now, but he said it was actually kind of refreshing to see traffic jams, because he knew at that point it would get back to normal.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie too. You look at a lot of these cities, and I know, of course, it's probably worst case scenario. It's probably worst case scenario with a lot of these pictures, or a lot of these videos of just like ghost highways, right?
Yep.
And
that's just eerie.
And that's, I mean, it's understandable. Again, I think it's obviously worst case scenario, because I know it's not as bad out here in Colorado, but I-25 is still relatively, it's definitely decreased in traffic, but there's still a decent amount of cars. I still go to work Wednesdays and Fridays, and there's still a decent amount of traffic. It's a little more sparse, but not to where I'm the only vehicle on the road. I don't know how often have you had to drive anywhere, Scotty?
Very rarely. I mean, in the last month and a half or so, I think I've been in the office twice, and it was basically because I had a shipment, and by the way, everyone, sorry, that's Mr. Phil. I either had a shipment.
Shocker.
A shipment that I had to turn around. Hang on one second. Let me deal with him.
Yeah, let's see. For those of you who don't know, those are the Ulibarri's well-behaved dogs. So got to throw that out there.
So I've only had to go to the office a couple times, and obviously my drive being in rural Michigan to slightly less rural Michigan as a commute isn't too bad. But I mean, we haven't really gone anywhere, so it's not been that big of a deal. The one thing though that kind of befuddles me is, with all this going on, why they can't do all the damn construction that they need to do in this state. Just do it all right now when no one can complain and no one's using it. No one's using the infrastructure.
Well, I know they're doing that out here. They're working double time. But are you saying the governor shut down even construction out there?
No, it's not shut down. It's just they're just not doing what they should be doing. Is going nuts on it and trying to replace all of it now while everyone's not using it, whereas it doesn't seem to be. It hasn't increased there hasn't been an increased volume.
I know they're doing that out here
in the amount of construction going on.
Oh, okay. I was just wanting to make sure. I was like, what? Yeah, because you're absolutely right. It's a prime time to get that construction rolling, right? Unfortunately, the weather's probably played a hindrance on it too, right?
Probably a little bit, but I think At least, and I'm not a construction guru by any sense, but um, typically, as long as the ground's not frozen, you can do construction. And I don't think the ground's been frozen for a while, even though it's snowed. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, just
you
messy.
know, yeah, it's just messy.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining on the A Train Radio. Scotty, we'll be right back with you. We got about another 15 minutes. I'm going to play some tunes real quick, buddy, and then we
Perfect.
will we'll have our final segment here. It's kind of raining out there right now. I haven't seen the Thunderbirds roll by yet, so that's kind of a bummer. But we'll be right back with some more music and Scott Ulibarri, folks. Hang in there.
Perfect.
All right, everyone. Thanks. Welcome back to A Train Radio Show. I am joined live with Scott Ulibarri from White Lake, Michigan. I'm coming to you live from Castle Rock, Colorado. Scotty, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
I've been hearing a little dog barking in the background there. How are they doing?
They couldn't be better. It's so funny. So with us being here all the time, they they're not sleeping as much, and so it's really funny. For those of you who don't know, Bosworth, our oldest Chihuahua, he's lost a bunch of weight because he's not just sleeping all day. He's actually out and about.
Oh, good
But
for him.
But with it being cold, it's been really funny. Chihuahuas are fairly cold all the time, and so we've had the fireplace on a lot. And all they do is sleep in front of the fireplace when they are sleeping. It's hilarious.
That's awesome. Glad they're doing okay, but apparently still haven't lost their barking senses. So that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah, no. But no worries there. And I know I'm sure pets all over the place are really enjoying this time because their owners or parents, if you want to call yourselves that, are probably giving them all the lovin's that they can handle.
Yeah, it's been pretty funny. So they're loving it.
I'm sure a lot of cats aren't really liking it because they're little brats, right? So they're probably like, just leave me alone. What are you still doing here, for crying out loud?
There was this funny meme that was going around that said something about how this virus is created by dogs to keep people at home.
Yeah, that, and which makes sense, but that's.
They don't have thumbs, so.
Yep, no opposable thumbs. That's right, folks. All right, well, Scotty, that'll probably do it for this week's session. Appreciate you calling in, man. It's always a good time talking to you. Hopefully, I can get back out to Michigan here soon. But I know they still have tickets available and they're really cheap. I was telling people they're about round trip was like $70 now from Denver to Detroit. My only worry is Detroit's kind of a hot spot right now, and I really, if I'm going to come home, obviously I'm going to see my family first, of course, and I really don't want to carry anything, especially to give something to my mom, because that would just be terrible. But we've considered definitely coming out to party during all of this because it's like prime time to travel. So
yeah, and it's kind of interesting because just for perspective, I think the airport is dead right now, but then also I'm looking to travel for my job back to Simpsonville the first week of May, and I'm getting ready to book tickets. The whole plane, there's 10 tickets sold on the whole plane.
Yeah, so you'll get your own row anyway.
That bad.
Yeah, I remember there was still right when the lockdown or the quarantine started happening. I actually had to travel to Minnesota, which the plane was relatively empty, but they were still. I mean, they're still allowing. They're not allowing for work anyway. They're not allowing any even domestic travel anymore. But I think that's going to fire up here soon again. Again with stipulations, right? I think wearing the mask, still social distancing. Maybe they'll have to sell. Keep 3 seat, just you get your own little section of the plane basically instead of a seat, right? And I think that's probably what will be the norm for a couple months. But I just want them to open it back up and really let some of these people get back to work. I think that's the main thing, because a lot of these people, you see some of those food lines. A lot of people aren't as fortunate as we are. Being able to work and still collect a paycheck, and some of them are, they living paycheck to paycheck, and the stimulus checks and unemployment just still aren't paying for a lot of these, these families, even though it does help, I'm sure, but you just, you really feel for those people, and hopefully we can all get back to at least work. I don't see us going back to concerts and sporting events anytime soon, but the question of playing live sports without fans, I think that's definitely a possibility, and I wouldn't mind. It'd definitely be a little different. Especially for the athletes, but I think that's a definite possibility for that to occur. I'm not saying next month, but I'm just really getting nervous about NCAA football. That's my main concern. That's
exactly where I was going to go. As long as we get past this by football season, I can live with it. If they cancel football season, we riot.
Yeah, if they cancel football season, that's going to kill basically any other college athletic sport or college sport, right? The football program in most probably, if not every university, is the main moneymaker to keep all the other athletics alive, right? So
it's going to kill the golden goose.
Yep, exactly right. So, all right, Scotty. Well, like I said, later tonight, I'll give you and Alyssa a Skype maybe because we're gonna do a little power hour. So hopefully you're stocked up on some beer. Wendolyn, I heard Wendolyn in the background. So glad to hear your voice, Wendolyn. Miss all you guys. Thanks for calling in, and I'll talk to you offline here in a little bit, Scotty. All right, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, see you, man. See you guys. All right. Well, that was Scotty U, and we are about out of time here. Thanks to Scotty for calling in. It's always good to talk to those guys. So, thanks again for tuning in, everyone, to the A Train Radio Show. Again, it's kind of just a freelance thing. I'm not going to. I try not to schedule it. It's just kind of a freelance thing, just to try to take some boring minutes or hours out of your day, and hopefully you guys tune in. Thanks for commenting, and I will try to keep this up and running. Don't forget, on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we do the A to G show right here with my homie Garrett Collier, G. And that's right here live on Facebook, and it will also be broadcast on YouTube now. So thanks, Scotty, for helping me out with the YouTube, making sure that was up and running and working. So it looks like it's been going just fine. I'm now having to monitor 3 different broadcast systems. Basically, I'm using a little software called Caster, actually, which is really cool. It basically generates broadcasts to any platform about, it looked like there's about 20 different platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, a lot of different live streaming platforms that you can caster to, which is kind of cool. So kind of a one-stop shop, which is nice because we can get this out to the world and not just my Facebook friends. So that's pretty fun. I was just messing with that the last week. So now the A to G show, A Train Radio show will all be on YouTube and Facebook. So hopefully you guys recognize the graphic up there, Facebook Live, YouTube Live right now. So that will about do. I'm going to play one more song for you guys before we shove off here. Again, appreciate everyone for listening and tuning in, and the comments. Make sure you share this with your friends, family. I'm sure a lot of them are kind of bored as well and just looking to pass the time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we will be right back after we play a little royalty-free music. All right. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Let's get back to some tunage. All right, good stuff. A little royalty-free music going on there. Again, I'm Adam Amble. Welcome to the A-Train Radio Show. It was a good episode today. About an hour 20 we went today. We had Scott Ulibarri earlier, but I appreciate everyone for listening and all the comments. Do not forget, if you care to join in on the fun at any point, you can Skype me and just go to just download Skype, the app. It is free. Just look for Amble12 and just send me a little chat message. I'll accept you, and then we can maybe get a little interview set up and join the show. All right. So thanks everyone again for tuning in. I'm Adam Amble, live from Castle Rock, Colorado. Great show. Good to have you. And hopefully we will be doing this again, possibly this week. If not, Tuesday night will be the A to G show at 9 p.m. with myself and my buddy Garrett Collier. Hope to see you guys there right here live on Facebook and live on YouTube now. If you go to just search the M Factor on YouTube, I'll leave a link in the chat. I'll leave a link as well on the preview for it. So we are live now on Facebook and YouTube, which is kind of exciting, but it's just more work for me to do in the background. But anyway, it's a good time. So thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Hopefully you pass the time. Have a great rest of your weekend. I am Adam Amble, and thanks for tuning in, folks. We will see you soon.